ونستغفره ونتوب إليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن سيدنا محمدا عبده ورسوله يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما أما بعد فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها فكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. Alhamdulillah, all praise is due to Allah who has blessed us with this gathering. All praise is due to Allah who has blessed us to witness the season of Hajj. Just as He blessed us a couple months ago to witness the season of Ramadan and Eid al-Fitr. He's blessed us to witness this season of Hajj, Dhul Qa'dah with Dhul Hijjah and Muharram, as people return to their homes in a state of protection and sanctity. So we're still in this season, and as the Hujjaj, as the pilgrims return to us, there are reminders for us of the greatness that the Hajj represents. And we should always look for the deeper meanings of things. There's hijrah. We know there's a physical migration, but the physical migration isn't the essence of hijrah, moving physically from one place to the other. Our Prophet ﷺ reminds us in that regard, al-Muslimu man salima al-Muslimuna min lisanihi wa yadihi wal-muhajiru man hajara mimma naha Allahu anhu. So he mentions ﷺ, the Muslim is the one, the other Muslims are safe from their tongues and their hands. And the muhajir is one who migrates away from that which Allah has forbidden. وَالْمُهَاجِرُ مَنْ هَاجَرَ مَا نَهَى اللَّهُ عَنْهُ, which is more accurate than the first thing I mentioned, مِمَّا. وَالْمُهَاجِرُ مَنْ هَاجَرَ مَا نَهَى اللَّهُ عَنْهُ. The muhajir is the one who moves away from that which Allah has forbidden. So that doesn't necessarily involve any physical movement. It involves giving up the haram. Not eating this, not drinking that, not saying this, not doing that. So that's the muhajir. Similarly, the hajj, the one who makes the pilgrimage, should also be aware, and those who haven't made the pilgrimage, that there's a deeper significance to the pilgrimage. But before we get to that, we look at the actual physical movement of Muslims from every corner of the earth. Even here from the far western extremes, from California, how many people went from California to the Hajj? Even one of the most popular pilgrimage groups is one from San Jose, led by Imam Tahir Anwar. From the furthest west, once you go past California, you face west for the Qibla. Some of you have visited Hawaii. You don't face east anymore, you face west. And some northwest. Meaning what? California represents the furthest extreme from in relationship to the Kaaba, the furthest western extreme of significant Muslim population. And so Muslims mobilized, thousands of Muslims from California for the Hajj. And they join their brothers and sisters. And they join them in what condition? They join them in the condition of peace. And that peace is made possible by the worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. People should be too busy worshiping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to worry about petty conflicts that in other areas are leading them to fight each other. People should be too busy worshiping Allah ta'ala to be worshiping authority. to be worshiping political power, to be worshiping a position, this or that position, in relation to their fellow human beings. That's what people are fighting for. But at Hajj, they're too busy worshiping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Just as Laylatul Qadr is peace. Why? People are too busy worshiping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They're in the Masjid. They're praying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They're reciting the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They're engaged in the remembrance of Allah. And then what is the culmination of that night? Allah ta'ala describes it. Salamun hiya hatta matla'il fajr. That peace prevails until the crack of dawn. Peace prevails until the crack of dawn. And peace prevails at the pilgrimage, where all of these Muslims who might be, if were they in Syria, or were they in Iraq, or were they in Libya, or were they in Somalia, or were they in Yemen, or were they in Afghanistan, they'd be fighting each other, some of them. Some of them would be aligned with this faction, and they're fighting this faction of Muslims in this or that country. But all of them go to Hajj. The supporters of this group or that group, the supporters of this movement or that movement, they all go to Hajj. And they all exist in peace. And there is no fighting between them. There is no wrangling between them. Peace prevails. So this is a lesson for us, that peace is possible. But we have to commit ourselves to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala first. Because when we commit ourselves to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then the lessons that are necessary to bring peace amongst ourselves we take seriously. When our Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam tells us, لا تحاسدوا ولا تناجشوا ولا تباغضوا ولا تدابروا ولا يبيع بعضكم على بيع بعض وكونوا عباد الله إخوانا. المسلم أخو المسلم لا يظلمه ولا يخذله ولا يكذبه ولا يحقره. التقوى ها هنا ويشير إلى صدره 3 مرات بحسب امرئ من الشر أن يحقر أخاه المسلم. كل المسلم على المسلم حرام دمه وماله وعرضه. When people are committed to Allah Ta'ala, this hadith means something. And it affects behavior. Don't envy one another. Don't conspire against each other. Don't hate one another. Don't turn your backs to one another. Don't enter into a transaction once your brother is entering into it. Be ye servants of Allah, brothers. This is first the commitments to Allah. Kunu ibad Allah. Because if we are truly servants of Allah, we will be brothers. When people gather in the plains of Mecca, the valleys of Mecca, and the plain of Arafat and Mina, they gather as servants of Allah. They cast off their differences. They cast off their quest for power. They cast off their quest for position. And they gather as servants of Allah. And when they return, they must return as servants of Allah. This is the only way peace is possible. When we serve our Lord and place the service of our Lord over the service of our nafs, over the service of our egos, over the service of our caprice and our whims, over the service of the base aspects of our soul, then peace is possible. And then we realize when we're all finally come to the ultimate realization. This is what Hajj does. When a person truly internalizes the lessons of Hajj, he or she understands that this power I was fighting and jockeying for, this status I was jockeying for, all of these worldly things that were motivating me to conflict with my brother or my sister Muslim, they mean absolutely nothing with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because they're all from the dunya. And what did our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam say about this dunya? about this base material world. لو تعدل الدنيا عند الله جناح بعوضة ما سقى فيها كافرا شربة ماء. That this world doesn't mean a mosquito's wing, a gnat's wing with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then we die, and we come to the realization, أَلْهَاكُمُ التَّكَاثُرُ حَتَّى زُرْتُمُ الْمَقَابِرِ. Their mutual piling up of the wherewithal of this world distracts them until they visit the graves. And then when they visit the grave, what do they realize? وَأَمَّا مَنْ أُوتِيَ كِتَابَهُ بِشِمَالِ فَيَقُولُ يَا لَيْتَنِي لَمْ أُوتَ كِتَابِيَا وَلَمْ أَدْرِ مَا حِسَابِيَا يَا لَيْتَهَا كَانَتِ الْقَاضِيَةَ مَا أَغْنَى عَنِّي مَالِيَا هَلَكَ عَنِّي سُلْطَانِيَا خُذُوهُ فَغُلُّوا ثُمَّ الْجَحِيمَ صَلُّوا ثُمَّ في سلسلة ذرعها 70 ذراعا فاسلكوه. All of my wealth is of no benefit. All the wealth I fought my brothers and sisters for. I fought other people for. I fought other tribes and races and ethnicities for. It's of no benefit. مَا أَغْنَى عَنِّي مَالِيَا. And all of this power that meant so much to me, that I was willing to kill my fellow brothers and sisters, that I was willing to invite the wrath of the world upon the innocent Muslims in my vicinity. It's gone. هَلَكَ عَنِّي سُلْطَانِيَا. And then what it said, seize him and strangle him. خُذُوهُ فَغُلُّوا. And then make him fuel for the hellfire. ثُمَّ الْجَحِيمَ صَلُّوا. That's where it all ends up. Brothers and sisters, just as we go to Hajj and we make migration to the house of Allah, we have to make migration to the worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We have to make migration to the meanings of what it truly means to be human. To be truly human means to cast off these base characteristics that lead us to fight against each other and to argue against each other and to engage in all sorts of petty behavior with each other and adorn ourselves with the lofty, prophetic, and godly characteristics that lead us to love one another. Allah's al-Wadud, that leads us to be compassionate to one another. Allah Ta'ala is ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, that leads us to truly appreciate one another and to be willing to sacrifice for one another. Allah Ta'ala is Shakir, يُعْطِي ثَوَابًا جَزِيلًا عَلَى عَمْلِ الْقَلِيلِ. To be magnanimous with each other. That's magnanimity. He gives a great reward for a little action. So we appreciate the small things that our brothers and sisters do. And we're not demanding big things of them. But in response to a little from them, we're really willing to give everything for them. This is what it means to be human. This is what it means to be human. And these are the deeper meanings of the Hajj, to make the pilgrimage. And يعني نحج من أوصافنا البشرية الدنية إلى أوصاف الله العلية إلى قدر الإمكانية الإنسانية. To move away from our base human characteristics towards lofty godly characteristics to the extent humanly possible. That's what it means to be human. When Adam was taught the names of things, he was taught meanings. He was taught what lies beneath the surface. We're too trapped at the surface of things. We have to look at the deeper meanings of things, because that's what moves us into the realm where we can know ourselves. And if we truly know ourselves, we will know our Lord. So when we know ourselves through mercy, and we know ourselves through compassion, and we know ourselves through magnanimity, and we know ourselves through charity, and we know ourselves through love, then we can know Allah, who is Ar-Rahman, Ar-Rahim, Al-Wadud, Al-Shakur, Azza wa Jal. May Allah bless us to wake up. May Allah bless us to move beyond the superficial understandings of our religion that lead to these monstrous interpretations that some people are engaging in, that open the door to bloodshed and strife and conflict, and make peace almost seemingly impossible. And when we move to deeper meanings, that open the door to understanding, that open the door to compassion, that open the doors to truly being able to love one another and to reconcile with one another and to move into a realm where we can fulfill our historical duty to humanity. Kuntum khayra ummatin ukhrijat lin-nas. You are the best community raised up to serve humanity. But how can we serve humanity when we can't even serve ourselves? Inna Ibrahima kana ummatan qanitan lillah. حنيفا ولم يكن من المشركين شاكرا لأنعمه اجتباه وهداه إلى صراط مستقيم. The Hajj is about Ibrahim. Ibrahim was an ummah. And one meaning of that, he was a composite of the lofty virtues and characteristics that could be found in individuals in an ummah. We have to be like an ummah so we can be khair ummah. Until we are like Ibrahim, the one whose footsteps and actions we commemorate during the Hajj, and his children and his wife. Until we can be like Ibrahim. Inna Ibrahima kana ummatan qanitan lillah. Where did we start? We started that the Hajj, it places us in a position of worshiping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and prioritizing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And what is the first description of Ibrahim as an ummah? Inna Ibrahima kana ummatan qanitan lillah, devoutly obedient to Allah. So when we are obsessed and immersed in our obedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we won't have time for petty dunya distractions. May Allah bless us to move into that realm. May Allah bless us to move to that station. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المؤمنين يقوم استغفر الله. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيد المرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا وحبيبنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا. Brothers and sisters, Allah has blessed us. Allah has blessed us, and the greatest blessing He's given us is a sound mind. This aql, which is a locus of religious responsibility. One who loses their mind to insanity or sleepfulness or fainting or whatever causes a loss of their intellect, they're not religiously responsible. So the intellect is the locus of religious responsibility that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed us with. Some of our brothers and sisters are challenged with various mental disabilities. We should not forget them. Some of the brothers and sisters are rallying to establish a center for the treatment of our brothers and sisters who are challenged in that regard. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes us fit challenges for each other. وَجَعَلْنَا بَعْضَكُمْ لِبَعْضٍ فِتْنَةً هَلْ تَصْبِرُونَ. Will you not be patient with each other? And part of patience involves service and dealing with the difficulties that come through serving. So we serve our parents when they get elderly. We don't pack them up unless they're suffering from very debilitating diseases that require special care. But generally speaking, we serve them. We keep them home with us. We benefit from their wisdom. We benefit from their barakah. Here's an elderly person who might have been making tahajjud for 40, 50 years straight and never missed a night. And they're doing their awrad and they're doing a khatam of Quran every month. How much barakah is in that person? And what do we lose when we move them away from us? Similarly, some of the people were challenged mentally or psychologically with real maladies. There are sources of great blessings. And the blessing of serving them and the patience involved in serving them and anticipating a great reward from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is something that's going to be rewarded in the highest sense. So after the Jummah and the announcement, you'll be told how you can support this effort and this initiative. May Allah give us tawfiq, and may Allah bless us to remember those who are less fortunate than ourselves. That bless those in any way, be it with mental or psychological or psychiatric challenges, be it with physical disabilities that challenge them and challenge us in certain ways, be it with poverty. People aren't poor generally because they don't want to work. People say these poor countries, they should pull themselves up by their bootstraps like we did. So are you saying they should commit genocide against their original inhabitants of their land? That they should have 200 years of slavery during their colonial into their nation-building period, free labor, free finance capital to enrich themselves? No, issues are deeper than that. There's structural violence. There's structural poverty. There's structural racism. And wherever people find themselves suffering as a result of that, we should be in the forefront of trying to alleviate their struggles and assist them. Not to give them a handout, to give people a hand up. That's all many people need. And then there are those who exploit every situation. May Allah give us tawfiq. And may Allah bless us to remember those less fortunate. And when the information is given as to how we can support the center that the brothers and sisters have established for the mentally and psychologically challenged, may we heed the call and do whatever we can to support them. اللهم اغفر للمسلمين والمسلمات والمؤمنين والمؤمنات الأحياء منهم والأموات. ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب. ربنا افرج علينا صبرا وثبت أقدامنا وانصرنا على القوم الكافرين. ربنا افرج علينا صبرا وثبت أقدامنا وتوفنا مسلمين واعف عنا واغفر لنا وارحمنا أنت مولانا فانصرنا على القوم الكافرين. اللهم انصر المسلمين في كل مكان وفي كل زمان. اللهم انصر المسلمين أجمعين أنت مولانا فانصرنا على القوم الكافرين. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. أكمل الصلاة يا عمي.